Hey, dear Tyler, how are you doing? What's up? I hope you're good. Hope you're fine. And I hope your week is coming up well, right? A new week, fresh things happening and all. So I want to thank everyone that has engaged so far in Dear Tyler. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for your review. Thank you so much for just generally everything, sharing and, helping us grow the whole Dear Tyler community. Thank you for everyone that has subscribed to Jollof Radio. And yeah, another thing about Jollof Radio is that they have a host of other podcast content, right? So you'll get to discover a lot of other people there. So please do well to, check out Jollof Radio and then just engage them, right? They're an amazing platform. Yeah, and I'm happy about the engagement of the previous episode, right? Navigating disappointment. And I'm glad that it helped a lot of us. I'm glad that the lessons shared were able to bring a level of context to the occurrences of life, right? And like I promised in that particular episode, I said that I was going to do the flip side episode of Navigating Success, because a lot of people don't know how good things could be a hindrance to becoming better, right? There's the potential for results to get to us, that it stops us, from achieving more. In other words, it puts us in a position where we just, plateau. We just reach that pinnacle, that point, and we just get to a point of rest. It kills every potential in us. Right, so I said I was going to share about that because a lot of people do not understand the dangers of success too. It's very important that we interpret things through a proper lens, right? And if we misinterpret success, if we define it in a particular way, it could actually end up being very harmful, right, to us. Now, the anchor scripture that I'm going to use is a scripture that I used to end the last episode, where Paul was talking to the body of believers and said that forgetting those things which are behind me, I press on towards, the mark. And I think another reference where Paul says that, for everything that I've achieved, this is me paraphrasing, for everything I've achieved, I count it as nothing, right, compared to the excellency of knowing Him. Now, success, depending on how you would say it, right, has a very sweet feel, and I won't belittle it. I'm not going to make it look like, no, it's just one of those things. Success is extremely sweet. I know what it means to play video games, right? Back then I used to be like a champion and spend a lot of time playing video games. And then there was this particular video game that we had, late 90s, early 2000s, Nintendo 64. In fact, Super Nintendo Ultra 64. We even made a song out of it. But there was this, one of the games we had was FIFA 64. And there was this cheat code that I kind of found that if I got to a particular position on the field, and I shot the ball, it must be a goal. Like the goalkeeper could not do anything. And for the longest time that I could remember, I used it against my brothers, my younger brothers. I used it consistently, always just used it to trash them until my younger brother, Galia, found out the trick. Then I now started using seniority. I was a bully. I started using seniority, telling him that he should not use it. You understand? So he should find better ways of scoring goals. So while I'll be using the cheat code and just be winning him, whenever friends come over, I'll just use that code against them, and allow them play. You understand? I'll allow them play. I could even allow them maybe score 5 goals, 6 goals or something. Then I'll now enter into my cheat mode, right? And the feeling of just winning is very, very good. It gives you that sense of accomplishment, right? Like you've done something. Also, using the same video game analogy, right? Now this one is not me being a bully or anything, but whenever I encountered a particular challenge in a game, right? Whenever I cross that particular challenge, there's this level of fulfillment that just, comes over me. I feel like I can do anything. I could even, build an edifice around it. In Nigerian terms, we'd be like, start making mouth. And it's really nice. I love it when things work out. And generally, human beings, as we are, right? Human beings, as we are, we love it when things work out, right? The moment we come in contact with a difficulty or some form of a challenge, it can really put us off. Right? So, I really enjoyed, all those game things, whether if it was even the times where maybe in sports, maybe I made one, great shot or did something. It was just those good moments of success that really, really brought life to me. Now, in as much as success is good, right, there are dangers attached to it, especially if it's not managed properly. There's a danger to success. And like I said, if we do not define things properly, we would get to a point where the things that should be blessings would end up being very, very harmful to us, right? So, the major issue of success is the perception that it gives that you've arrived. That perception, that arrival mentality is the major danger of success. Now, if not managed well, what success will do to you is that it will make you put yourself in a pedestal and begin to glory in that situation or glory in that particular event, right? So you do well in a particular thing, you do well in, one of your arts, your crafts, your skills, and you're being celebrated. And then you quickly build a monument around it and then use it as a reference point consistently, right? So that arrival mentality is like, I have reached. Now, what that does to you is that it stops you from pursuing further success. When we understand that success is a journey and not a destination, we will be driven consistently by the passion to improve, to become better. I can't remember, I think it's one of the older episodes of Dear Tyler that I did. I think it's something about, hitting targets or something. I gave an example. Now, if I take, maybe, like I told you in the previous episode, that I'm not very good at athletics. Now, what I can do is get maybe some small children, right? Maybe people that are like 6, 7, because I know anybody from like 12, 13 should probably run faster than me, which is very bad. But maybe 6, 7, and then I'll do a race with them, and then I win, right? And then I get, I'm the fastest person in that place, which is true. Now, if I do not push myself, right, to, go for something higher, what happens is that I peg myself around a particular region, and then I never get to achieve anything aside that. So, you'll see people coming up with the same archaic ideas, the same concepts. In 1960 this, we did this. That's how it's meant to be done. That pursuit for more was absolutely killed. And it's because you got a level of success in a particular thing, and then you crowned it up as the highest achievement that you've had. There are a lot of people that there is nothing fresh or new about them. And the world does not celebrate the same thing for long. The world does not celebrate the same thing for long. I learned this through Usain Bolt. Now, every time Usain Bolt broke a record, right? The world, there was this raise about it. Everybody was talking, everybody was saying things, right? The moment he stopped breaking that record, he was known as the fastest man alive, right? He's still the fastest man alive based on the record that he set. But it's not part of the news again, because the world is expecting something more. The world is really expecting something more. Now, look at, all of the technological advances that we've had in the world, right? All the technological advances in the world. Imagine me coming to say, do you know the capabilities of my phone? Do you know my phone can make calls? Do you know my phone can make calls? Do you know that I can send text messages? Do you know that I can, play ringtones or something like that? And then the kind of phones that we have now, right? Once upon a time, that was like a major breakthrough. Once upon a time, it was a major breakthrough. But right now, if you talk about it, it doesn't really seem so, impressive, because it's very regular. People are doing it, or almost every phone now has that capability. Every phone should have that capability. Now, I'm reminded of a brand war. The brand war between operating systems, Apple, that's iOS, and then Android. So recently, the Apple iOS, I think it was 18, I'm not too sure. I'm not an Apple person. I don't use their ecosystem, I'm not part of their ecosystem. But yeah, they have some, very, very impressive hardware. Now, they came out with, like product launch, like we've updated our software. There are certain things you can do. You can now change the background of your Apple device. You can move the icons around. They're not static. You can change them, and, there are other times where, they're talking about, you can now use facial recognition. And these are things that years ago Android has actually used. Now, to people who are part of the Apple ecosystem, they were pretty, impressed. Like, wow, how can we not seen that? Right? But then for those of us that are part of the Android ecosystem, right, we're like, these are old technologies. We're not impressed. Right? We're not really impressed. And with the way the world is now, that there are consistent reviews of things that can happen, even if you do not use an Android device, a lot of Android people will let you know what they're doing, right? So a premium product like Apple is not getting the rave reviews as it should, because what they're bringing as innovation are things that are stale compared to another ecosystem. Right? And that's what, building an edifice or that arrival mentality does. People will celebrate you for a while, but you need to understand that every success you achieve becomes a platform for others to achieve it. So it's like this: if you break a particular record, what you have done is that you have opened the door for other people to easily live in that particular realm. Right? So nobody's going to really be celebrated per se if they hit, let's say, Usain Bolt's time record. What will happen is like, oh my God, we've gotten somebody that has the potential to be faster. So they'll celebrate him like, okay, you've really done well. But at that moment, what they'll be looking at is, he's got to break that record. He's got to break that record. Right? So every time an innovation comes, it gives platforms for other people to live in that same, region, to experience the same things. So it means that if you do not innovate, and if you do not become better, if you do not become a better version of yourself, what happens is that you're going to get lost out in that race. You're going to get lost out in that race, and your relevance will fade. That's the danger of success if you do not, interpret it well. So you can look at success from a different lens and be like, okay, I set a target to achieve this, and I did, which means that that target is achievable. And if I set another target to be better, I can. So the goal is not to be comfortable in this position. The goal is to become a better version or get better results. Right? Get better results. In fact, one of the things about success, right, that I think maybe to serve as a second point is, never celebrate a success you cannot repeat. Never celebrate a success that you cannot repeat. If you get a success once, and it's only once, then it's called a fluke. Trust me, it's called a fluke. The ability to be rewarded in life is to make your results predictable, that you can achieve them time and time and time again. And I am drawn back to SpaceX, right? Elon Musk. Just one very funny individual came to mind when I was speaking. But Elon Musk, right? From SpaceX. Now, when they were, looking at the reusable jets or reusable space rockets, propellants and everything, right? They encountered a lot of issues, consistently encountered a lot of issues. But once they got a breakthrough, once they celebrated that breakthrough once, their goal was to make sure that they could repeat it. And they never moved on to the next phase until their launching was very predictable. That they had, 100% success rate based on the time when they started winning, and they had no issues. Right? Now, I remember back last 2 years, how I would spend hours watching the launches and being fascinated at how they got it at every single time. And, one of the things that they did is that they made sure that they could replicate their results across every board. So it's not just about getting results on maybe landing it on the launch site, right? They now took it to the sea. Can we also get it, get back our rockets while on sea? And they took it, further movable transportation and other things, so that they can determine their launch times. They can determine their launch times based on, the Earth's rotation, the best possible launch period, and then how they will not affect, aviation work around that time. Yeah, so because whenever they're going to launch, the whole international airspace has to be guided. Everybody needs to know, so that planes do not end up following the path of the rocket, right? They need all the clearance. But it gave them that flexibility to be able to choose when they could launch and how they would want to launch and how to pick up their reusable rockets. Now, like I said, they didn't move further until they got a consistent level of success. Now the world doesn't celebrate it as much as before. You can go and people are not so raved about it on YouTube. They don't even televise the launches anymore, right? They've got their Starlink satellites orbiting the Earth, providing internet consistently, right? And they're now pushing for new frontiers, pushing for how they could refuel rockets in space, sending, rockets to Mars, creating artificial gravity. All of these things are showing that they are not pegging themselves in a particular place of success. I think the major danger of success is that the real fact that, I've arrived. That thing that kills the pursuit for more. I remember seeing a picture of the first hard drive. It was a 4 megabyte hard drive, and they were loading it onto a truck, like a major, massive truck. And then there were, so many reporters all around, taking pictures of it, like 4 megabytes. Now that particular big device would probably take like a song, maybe a very short song now, in this time, a very short song, maybe a few minutes or so, right? And that's the funny thing about it. That's the funny thing. At this point in time, in the generation that we're living, if I carried a truck and said that this is my hard drive or my USB, you would laugh at me, because we've got such tiny devices that can hold up to 2, 3, 10, 16 gigabytes, up to terabytes of data, right? And now truckloads, what trucks carry are petabyte drives. You understand? And it's not a marvel anymore. It's not a marvel anymore. So that's the danger of success, and you've got to navigate it well, that you do not build an edifice around it that stops you from growing and becoming better. Now, this leads to frustration because you will consistently celebrate your success, constantly tell people, oh, this is what I've done. Do you know I've done this, I've done this. And as much as people want to honor and celebrate you, they're seeing other people achieving greater strides than you. They're trying to, they're seeing people prove that there are better ways to do certain things. There are higher standards. There are things that we've never seen before that are being done. And you're over here, making a whole fuss about, oh, in my days, this is what happened, in my days. The truth is that those were your days. In these days now, what is going to happen, rather? What are the things that can be achieved because of you? So, it's one thing to succeed. It's one thing to have a hunger for success. And understanding that success is a journey, not a destination, will keep you in that position that causes you to consistently pursue knowledge, consistently pursue growth, and to become a better individual. Now, I remember when I started Dear Tyler as a podcast, right? I just, did my little sharing. There wasn't really much. But the more I got engaged in understanding, the podcast space, right, I found out that, I could really, really become a better version of myself. I could have a better flow. I could have better concepts, and, just building. And gradually, those that have followed Dear Tyler from its grassroots up to now can see the evident, changes and differences in expressions and all. So it's important to not create a destination out of success, right? Let everything be targets. Let everything be called checkpoints, right? Going back to my analogy of video games, there are certain places in a game that is called a checkpoint where you can save, so that when you come back, you start from that particular place and progress. Not that you'll have to start the whole game from the beginning, because it's going to be you're going to expend a lot of energy. Right? It takes a lot of energy to make progress. So there are checkpoints, and each checkpoint, as much as it's celebrated, there's a relief that comes when we hit checkpoints. But we know that after there is still more. After there is still more. After there is still more. Now, another thing that can help you to navigate success is one of the points that I mentioned in the previous episode about navigating disappointment. Make sure that you are not the best version of your craft, your skill, your art in your circle. Make sure that you're not the most celebrated, right? If you find yourself in a circle where you are the most celebrated, make sure you create another circle or place yourself in a circle where there are other people achieving way more than you. What happens to you psychologically is that it builds a level of dissatisfaction, right? When you get to see people doing more than what you are celebrated for outside, it makes you, particularly hungry. Now, I played the guitar, the acoustic guitar in particular, and there was a certain level that I had where, while I was in Zaria back then, it was, basically celebrated. Oh, this guy is one of the best guitarists, blah, 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 blah. They said it, right? Now, other people started coming in with their own expertise, with their own level of exposure. And I started seeing that there were other things that I didn't know, right? And then I started, getting to know other guitarists online, started, learning from them, seeing that, that there is a whole... there's a whole spectrum that you can explore when it comes to music. There are a lot of things that you can do, right? Now, it was because I found my way into circles of people that were achieving way beyond what I had achieved as an individual. So it now let me know that the potentials are limitless, right? The potentials are limitless. And if I explore more, I would be able to do more. I posted a video, a very old video. I think I did that video like 7 years ago. I posted that video recently, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, and people were like, oh my God, this is so amazing. How can you even produce those type of sounds on the guitar? And I laughed. It's because, that's a very, very old technique. Like, for them, it's a revelation because they've not seen it, right? Or maybe they saw it in movies and they thought it was a film trick, but they're now seeing someone that they know, every day doing it, right? Now, for me, it's not spectacular, right? Because it's a level that I have I can produce the result over and over again if I want to. But then for the rest of the people that haven't seen it, right, it's something to wonder and marvel. Now imagine if everywhere I go, that's all that I do. One day they won't be marveled, right? So I expose myself to other people doing a lot of other things on the guitar. I'm hearing, I'm seeing, I'm learning, and I'm growing. So I would never get to the point where I'm like, man, I'm the best. That concept of best, right? That concept of best is something that we should take very, very carefully, that we do not get, so comfortable with that word. I may be the best, but that's not the best version that can be. So it's only proof that there is more. It's only proof that there is more that I can do. Only proof that there's more that I can do, and I can get better and better and better and better. So let's be very careful, Tyler. Celebrate your successes. Celebrate your wins. Be proud of the targets that you hit. Be proud of the records that you break. Be excited, celebrate them. Do not trivialize them. It's not easy to have the discipline that makes you win. It's not easy to have that discipline that makes you win. But after you celebrate and you're excited with the successes, right, what you should do is go back and be like, there is more, there is more, there is more. It's not from a greedy perspective, or from an unthankful heart or heart of ingratitude. No, you're grateful, but there is more. And the better you become, right, the more you can offer to the world. The better you become, the more you can offer to the world, right? It's an advantage to not just you, but every other person around you. When you become a better version of yourself, when you begin to do things better, you become an asset. You become an asset. And people tend to stick with people that show consistent signs of progress, right? Because everybody wants their own life to move. Now, if I'm in a system where everybody is achieving certain goals and moving, right, ultimately I'll be driven by that and my life will also be improving. But if I'm in a place where there is a lot of staleness, right, the fear that comes upon me is that if I stay here, I'm not going to move forward. And that's why a lot of people sometimes leave certain environments, because that environment gives them the impression that the longer I stay here, there's not going to be any progress in my life. Now, some other people can be comfortable in that place and be like, oh, in this place I'm a champion, while some other people have found out that there is more that they can do. So you've got to navigate success in a way that would allow you to keep on succeeding. Do not get to the point, Tyler, that you plateau. Do not get to the point where you have found rest, per se, from pursuit of excellence. Never get to that point, right? Never get to the point where you do not see more than what you are already doing. Do not allow the pride of success keep you from being humble for more, right? And do not allow the celebrations of people give you the impression that that's the best version. That's just the best version they have seen. That's why they celebrate it. Understand that once your results become predictable, people will expect more, right? People will expect more. And people always tally, people will always tag along with what would give them progress in life. That's why you change your phone. That's why you change your car, because the improvements make your life easier. It's not just about aesthetics per se alone, right? But it makes your life a lot easier. That's the power of progress, right? So in navigating success, always stay hungry. Always stay hungry. So I really do hope that this blessed you. This is definitely a bit shorter than the previous episode, but I'm happy about that, right? So this is me signing out, Tyler. Remember that I love you, I believe in you, and I'm always rooting for you. Please do take care. Bye.